Hi, everybody. Um, we are, this is overview for module or week 9. I don't have these broken down by modules, but we've entered a new circle on the chart that you see in the lecture. We're now into the Eastern religions, specifically Chinese-based religions. They're Chinese-based today. Two of them are Chinese-based, period. Buddhism came to China from India. But within this set, there are three religions: Daoism, Confucianism, and Buddhism. And each one has, I think, a pretty interesting story to tell when we look at how differently the Eastern cultures see reality and religion compared to the Western cultures. And it's not a comparison to say one's better than the other. It's just informative to understand how differently this causes Eastern adherents to the religions we're going to talk about to look at the world and live their lives. I think overall it will help as you go into your career and everything, because it better explains this kind of weird relationship we have with China. You know, they're an enemy, but also a friend. They're a frenemy. We get a considerable amount of goods from them, and right now there's some tariffs in place that slowed that down a little bit, but there's still a lot of flow in between China to the United States, and there's a lot of investment from China in the U.S. and from the U.S. in China. Yet these two are all the time scuffling in the South Pacific over little islands and places they want their ships to be. And anyway, Taiwan. That's a big point of contention. But so I want to take you through the first one of these, just an overview, not the whole tamale or anything, but just an overview of Daoism. Now, Daoism is sometimes spelled with a D, sometimes spelled with a T. I think most of the time you will see it spelled with a D if it were spelled out in alpha numeric style rather than Chinese characters if you were to see it in China. There's a long story about why one's D and one's T, and it has to do with the systems we use that have been used to translate Chinese characters into English. It's not really important to the religion. I primarily use Daoism with a D. It's how it sounds. It's what I understand to be the preferred way for the Chinese, for people who speak Chinese first as opposed to English. I could be wrong about that one, but I believe that's right. Nonetheless, enough time spent on that. If you want to look it up or ask ChatGPT about it, you could do that, and you'll learn a little something. Anyway, the usual things. We've got our objectives. We've got this overview video that you're watching. There's a section in the book on Daoism. There will be a lecture with slides that are also right here on Daoism that will hopefully help prepare you for the quiz and this discussion question. There's also a fact sheet on Daoism. I put it in there. I tried to find a way to kind of summarize the main ideas on Daoism and put them on a single page or two, I can't remember, just to make it easier for you maybe to study or to use as a reference if you need to. There's the usual quiz. Yes, so far we're still using Lockdown Browser, and the tests are still timed. I sent you an email about that. Hopefully you reviewed it. If you're having any problem with Lockdown Browser, give Tech Department a call, and they can help you out. If for some reason they can't sort it out, talk to e-learning, and they probably can. So the discussion question has to do with this. This is a video about a young man's experience with Taoist principles. And in particular, he talks about this concept of the uncarved block. And we'll talk about that in the lecture. It's called Pu, P-U. And he'll also talk about wandering or getting lost, which has a close association with the concept of Wu-Wei, W-U-W-E-I. So I want this discussion to expose you to the idea of Daoism as a way of non-resistance. In other words, Taoists tend to believe that there is a way to move through life that is oppositional and it has a lot of friction to it. You have to force things, you have to make life conform to what you need. Most people want to be rich one day so that they can make life conform to what they want it to be. I'm not sure I know enough to know what life's supposed to be. But anyway, in Taoism, they don't approach life that way. So this young man is going to talk about non-resistance, embracing the flow, and letting life unfold as it will. So I want you to think of yourself as an uncarved block, carving in process, or a finished sculpture. And I want you to think about who has done the carving, and how Taoism, I want you to interact with the concept that Taoism has of the uncarved block, because the uncarved block has the potential to be anything. So a block of wood, not carved, could be anything. Could be a weapon, could be a likeness of an animal, could be a religious symbol, could be a tool. So I want you to try and get your head around this uncarved block idea, and think about how in the world you can be on an uncarved block in a modern day, right, where almost everything is planned out for you. You've got a certain time to work, certain time to be in class, certain time you have to do studying, homework, and maybe whatever you have to do around your apartment or dorm room or home to get things settled. So answer those prompts in total in 250 words at a minimum, and then be sure and post one comment or question about a classmate's post. And in doing that, I want you to ask a real meaningful question. I want you to engage with what they've written. I don't give full credit for, oh, I really agree with you, or I really like what you have to say. That's fine, but I'd like something additional to that tells me you actually engaged with what they said and have some question or observation about it. You've all gotten better at this part of it, and some of you have always been giving a lot of thought to this aspect of it. I'm just reminding you again that this is where the full credit comes in for the discussion question. And that's all there is. There's a discussion question and a quiz. We're going to kind of keep to 2 things a week for the rest of the semester in most cases. I mean, it might deviate, it kind of depends, but it should most of the time be 2 things like this. All right, so that's Taoism, and the next module will take us to Confucianism. We'll finish up with Buddhism. All right, I hope you guys have a good week. Stay well, be careful, and I'll talk to you soon.